da, 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 da,
Yeah, so
da,
I'm
da,
gonna
da, da.
I'm gonna watch some movies this weekend.
Oh, okay. But you did get to watch something this week at all, right?
Uh,
No?
Wait,
Well,
I
we
rewatched. I
on.
rewatched.
Hold on.
I
We
rewatched
on.
my table. I know. I rewatched my table read.
Oh.
Uh,
I thought you was like, I rewatched
I
the
was
movie.
kind of pressed to watch it,
Uh huh.
and I was like, hold on, let me turn this down. I was kind of pressed to watch it, and I had been like, okay, you know how something, it was on me to watch. Like I needed to watch it. I needed to watch it because I've never watched the full replay.
Right.
Um, so I was like, let me, and so I sent it to somebody, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and watch it. So I watched it, and I literally cried at the end
Oh, really?
because the
Now,
story. I cried because of the story. It wasn't because, oh my God, this was so good. Like I did this. It wasn't that thing. It was like, wow, this story still stood the test of time. Like
mm,
it was three lines I wanted to change in there out of the whole script. And that's
okay.
because, like, when I say she hands him the card, it's like, hit me up on IG. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like, it ain't no what you call it anymore. It ain't nobody handing nobody no business card. So it literally was three lines in the whole script that I wanted to change. But um other than that, it stood the test. It stood
Okay.
the test of time. And I literally was like, oh my God, this movie is great. Like this is so amazing.
Mm.
Peacock is gonna love it. Yeah, it was really good. It was really, really good. So
Oh,
what else did I watch? Sometimes we play stuff in the while we're at the shop. So I put on the Temptations movie.
mm-hmm.
That was last week though.
It
And
still
I'm trying
counts. I mean, you can get away with it. We ain't talk about it. But you know what? Let's
to bring
let's
it
do
in.
what we do, and then we can get this rolling. So let's make this happen. Go here, right? Go here.
Go here.
Hey, good morning to welcome to the Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. I'm your host, Michael Melvin. This is the Black Filmmakers Lounge. It is where interdependent filmmakers, whether novelists or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, and my co-host, Tamira T.K. Henderson, and you are hanging out with us at once again, the Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. It's where we chop it up, talking shop. And today we're just hanging out briefly for Memorial Weekend. So we're glad that you are joining us today if you're here with us. What's going on, everybody? So I know the topics of today, of course, we're doing a What You Watching, and we're going to talk about our ABA or AAB, all about business. There we go. All about business. Because there's some things happening in the industry, in the film, larger industry, that will and can impact the independent film industry. And then
Mm.
there's just things as independents we should be considering and thinking about. Excuse me. So, TK, you were talking about watching.
Oh yeah, they let me see. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I rewatched my own table read, Love Over Lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and AKA Hip Hop Love Story, AKA Love Over Lyrics. So I was watching that. I watched that, and it was really good. And then I watched something else. I was trying to think if I watched something else at the shop. I started watching a Sparkle yesterday, and then it's actually I think on Tubi,
Okay.
the new Sparkle, because I've never seen that. And I try to find music stuff, music films when I'm working, um,
Mm.
in regards to like the shop, kind of like that. So I like music things, but needless to say, um, that's all I got to watch because I had to do some production work in regards to rehearsals and for a film that I'm helping with pre-production on, and then yeah, and then working. I'll watch more this weekend. I'll have some stuff. This 3-day weekend, I'm watching some stuff.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I mean, I gotta watch stuff too, but I did watch Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think I said this last show. Never mind. I think I did that last show. No,
I
I
don't
didn't.
remember you watching Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Quantum Mania, because we talked about. I think we talked about Jonathan Majors. So I really. So did I? What did I do? I thought I'd watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it did come out this week. Yes, and then I watched Shazam, but I feel like I did that last week. I don't know why I feel that way, but but I watched them. You know what? No, I had to watch him this week because I watched Shazam because Max HBO's now shift over to Max,
Right.
and that took place on Tuesday, the 23rd. And so originally I thought what they're going to do was an app update, but you had to open up a new app. And all your information was there, all your passwords, everything connected, but you had to just open up a new app instead of them updating the app. So it was kind of interesting. So I watched that, and I didn't get to watch too much, but those couple days I did watch those things. And then I was watching Star Wars Young Jedi yesterday. I watched the full episode yesterday. It feels like they took their half episodes and just combined them into one or something. And again, it's something for kids. But what I did notice is a lot of their characters on the show were, it's animated, but they were children of color.
Oh, wow.
A lot of black kids, Asian and Indian, and it was very interesting. I mean, the main kid is black, and so I was like, "Oh, Disney's stepping their Star Wars game up." Okay, and so yeah, I thought that was interesting. And if you're joining us, make sure you join us at the Black Filmmakers Lounge actual page in order to comment if you like to comment or share or got any questions. Because it's one of those days where you get to throw out some decent, respectful questions. Let's keep it clean, nice, respectful. I don't know why I got to say that sometimes, but I just feel like I got to say that sometimes. But so it's it was interesting. It was like, I like superhero movies. You know, I don't look for something overly. I think there's a balance. Like, you can just watch things to enjoy them, right? And I think what happens is, and I could be wrong, but it's just like the day and age of people they're not enjoying things as much as they could or should. You know, it's like, I got an opinion about this. Well, we got an opinion about everything, you know?
Man.
But just enjoy the movie.
Right. Just enjoy the movie. I know, just enjoy the movie. You don't have to watch stuff to let me see if it's good or let me see what they did wrong, or just enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
You click on it to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just not looking for it to be more than what it is sometimes, you know. And I think I'm that way with superhero movies more so now. Like, I get it. There's tons of superhero movies. That's a whole genre now. You know, it's kind of been that. It's been action packed and adventure, but now that there's so many of them, you have superhero horror movies, you have superhero comedies, you have superhero thrillers, and that just action, you know. So and it goes action movies with sci-fi. It fits in there perfectly, but it's like, you have all these things. It's like, what are we gonna just create, you know? And it was funny. I was on Instagram, and they had a interview with Ludacris, and they were talking about, they asked him, he gets this question, why did they make another Fast and the Furious movie? And he was like breaking it down. He said, look, we spend X amount of millions, 200 million, whatever, and it makes billions of dollars worldwide. I mean, bottom line is money. You know, why
Why
wouldn't
wouldn't
you?
you?
Why wouldn't you?
Why
It
wouldn't
takes
you? If
money.
if if it's making that much, and it's making a lot of money, so why wouldn't you?
And if you don't, and then that's the thing, like people feel like their opinion is so important. You know, it's like my opinion is so important about this movie. Well, if you don't like it, why you watch it? Like if you're tired of seeing them, why are you watching them? Like you're like, I'm a glutton for punishment. I just want to waste more 90 minutes or 2 hours or 2.5, 3 hours to watch this. I'm gonna sit here. Then when I'm done watching it and wasted my money, I'm gonna complain about it.
Amen.
I'm gonna pay to complain.
I'm gonna pay to complain. Wow.
I'm just saying. So it's kind of funny. But like no, I'm probably not gonna be one of those people that go to watch Fast and Furious 10 in a movie theater. Um I'll wait for it to come on Paramount, right? Or
Mhm.
HBO Max or wherever it's gonna come. I'll chill out for that. I'm good with that. I think when I saw the other one, because I didn't go to the last one, 9, and see it in theater, I wait until it came on HBO Max.
Mhm.
So, and that's when I watched it. You know, I'm paying for these streaming services. And honestly, it's very rare. I think I've seen most Marvel movies in a theater. Most, not all. And I seen every Star Wars movie in the theater.
Mhm.
And there's certain, you know, I see most black films. I'm really a supportive of black cinema, but I've seen a majority of them in the movie theater. There's only certain ones I didn't feel like watching or seeing, or you know, but I've watched them, you know, whether in the theater or not. But a
Mhm.
good portion, like I've seen most Spike Lee movies in the movie theater. Um, I've seen all the Malcolm Lee movies he made in the movie theater. Um, it's just certain people you latch onto or certain actors. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go watch that. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where I'm at. Um, but I think the streaming service thing has really changed us a lot. You know, that availability helps because I don't have. Here's the thing. Sometimes I don't feel like wasting gas buying food at the movie theater or eating what they have to offer because they don't have a real meals. They don't have a plethora of stuff to decide from. Like today, I may go to the movies and I just feel like eating some shrimp, some crab legs, and can't do that. You know, I want some sushi. Uh, I can't do that.
I can't
Let me
do
get
that
some
at the
soul
movie.
food up in here. Uh, you know what I mean? Like I want some baked chicken, um, and rice, and I can't do that in the movie theater. So at home, we can be like, hey, what are we gonna eat? All right, let's make dinner. Or I can go pick up Cheesecake Factory or whatever on the way home, and whatever we're feeling, we make it, we do it. What's up, Darrell? Hi, good morning, sir.
Good
And
morning, Darrell.
let us know what you've been watching this week. And if you got questions or things you like to kind of talk about, because it's one of those, let's talk today, let's chat it up for a little while. Because it is Memorial Weekend. We want you guys to go out and enjoy your weekend. Speaking of Memorial Weekend, like I'll probably watch Devotion this week because I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, which is about a black pilot, fighter pilot,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
and
With
that was Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. I want
So
to see
I'll
that. I want to
watch
see that
that
too.
for Memorial Weekend. Like that'll be my Memorial movie,
Mhm.
black film. So I'll do that. Um, yeah. Now you gotta write that down, TK. Like, okay, I gotta
No, no, no.
watch.
It's on my list. Actually, it's on my list, but I wanted to see because Air is on Amazon Prime now.
Yes. Okay. So Air. Yeah.
Air is on
about the Air
Amazon
Jordans.
Prime. Yeah, because I was
Right.
looking at it for the movies again, but the movies didn't wait for me to come see the movie. So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I wonder if Devotion is already out of the theaters.
Yeah. No, that's on. I have it. I bought it for my dad to watch when it dropped on iTunes.
Oh,
Um,
okay, it's on Paramount.
yeah. So it's
Paramount
on
too.
Paramount now. Yeah. So you know.
Paramount, okay. Amazon Premium subscription, YouTube, Redbox. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Voodoo.
available everywhere. But you know
Okay.
what? Think about that, right? So as we're talking, because the subscription game has changed too. It hasn't changed, but it has this thing. John Wick 4 dropped on Tuesday on
Mm-hmm.
Apple for rental and buy purchase. Of course, we bought it because we got all of them. But I was looking over my phone service because I have Verizon,
Mm-hmm.
and they offer Apple, all the Apple stuff. They have an Apple bundle. It's like for individuals, $10. You get everything. You get Apple
Mm.
Music, you get Apple TV, you get Apple Arcade, you get all the for $10. The normal price is 16, so you're saving $6 and some change.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get, then part of my plan is also Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN. I don't pay anything for that. It comes
Mm-hmm.
with the service I got. And these packaging could lure you over because my wife has AT&T. She's never left them, and she gets HBO or Max now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to think about it. And I remember T-Mobile was doing something with somebody. I couldn't remember who it was.
They done a lot.
Uh-oh. TK, you got frozen like the
Frozen.
movie. Okay, you were frozen like the movie.
Yeah, I was watching myself be frozen. I was like, I'm frozen. Yeah, T-Mobile had a lot. I think they were the first ones to start doing it
Yeah, it's just
that I started
interesting.
seeing advertised.
So it's like, and then of course you got the free services like Freevee, Tubi. Um, there's another one that's free. There's a couple of them that's free. Let me see. I can look at my phone and tell you what they are.
Yeah, I need to go
Pluto,
there.
Pluto TV, and
Pluto
then so
TV.
so like you're looking at the game, and so how does the
Mm-hmm.
game change? Like I know like talking to filmmakers, people they have a different interest. Like some people have brought up Vimeo is now they're like, how do you use Vimeo? And Vimeo's not. I would say this: when Vimeo first started, they were kind of a competitor for YouTube. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem with Vimeo was, and it's not a problem, but the advantage too. Vimeo really had the film creative market. Like if you want to upload high quality work, you
Mm-hmm.
upload to Vimeo. And that's how you show your reels. That's how you show your stuff. And if you paid for Vimeo, because Vimeo had started off with a pay service. They had a free and then they had paid, and they had different tiers for their pay. There was an aspect of Vimeo where if you paid, like I know for me when I used to do it, it was like 200 and something a year, like close to $200, 220
Mm-hmm.
a year, and you could charge people to watch your content. So it's subscription based. And then I know there's another tier if you paid into it, they would design an app for you, and you could have subscribers through your app, and they would watch your content, and they pay a monthly subscription that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could do one where people pay to pay per view your movies, your work, and you didn't have an app or anything, but you can send them there through your website, and they would watch it, or they could watch it on the phone or whatever. And then you have the one where they'd work with you to design an app for your thing, and which is a lot of these platforms that pop up because again, Vimeo works with Roku and it
Mm-hmm.
works with Apple. So again, because having a Roku channel is free. Like, let's just be the business part. It's free. But you still need a way you can show content on there. So you would use a tool like Vimeo, or there's some other ones out there, but I'd prefer Vimeo.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But again, you can have people subscribe and they could watch your stuff. And it's interesting when you think about it because I thought most filmmakers were going to go that route a little bit
Mm-hmm.
with creating content and having people pay them directly. right? Because then you have all these things that popped up. OnlyFans pops up. Patreon pops up. There's another one. These are all sites that you can watch people's content, look at pictures or photos or whatever, and they charge you for it because you pay a monthly subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's a lot of platforms or there's a lot of apps to have on your phone. So the average user psychologically wants one place to go for everything if they can. So that becomes part of the thing of how it can hurt you. And then it's advertising dollars. Like, can you advertise? How are you advertising?
Can you advertise? Yes.
Because really making a film, I'll put it like this, the art industry. Now, the reason I'm gonna say this art industry, because I'm including, writing books, comic books, graphic novels, TV shows, movies, video games, photography. The art industry, most people suffer because they aren't marketers.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because the reason people want deals is let's just be real. There's two reasons people want a deal. They want an instant check for their work, and they don't want to have to do the heavy lifting and legwork to gain an audience.
Yes. Yes.
And thus, that is why the in-check results are little. Let's talk all about business.
Well, yeah. It just depends because
Well, it's little compared to the bigger guy. Is
right.
what I'm saying. Because
it's always going. Yeah.
Like, let's think about it. If I go to this studio to make my movie, I'm coming to them. Number one, I'm coming to them. They ain't coming to me. So I don't really have negotiation power as much unless I have a name, right? So I'm going to them because I want to use their avenue to showcase my concept, my idea. I want my movie made. I want my TV show made. Whatever. I'm coming with an idea. Everybody has an idea. It's about execution.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody has an idea and there's 1 million people sitting in a room and you're one with an idea and you're asking someone to put up their dollars, you own nothing. You run the risk. Okay, I won't say you own nothing. You run the risk of owning nothing or very little or minimum, depending on your name, because you want access to what they got. You want to be part of their catalog. That's just why people want to speak with a Netflix. This is why they want to get on a Tubi. Mm-hmm. This is why, because you want to be amongst hundreds of thousands to millions of films that are made, that are being seen by people, and you want your name. That's how you're building your brand. You got it, right? But we forget the conventional means of doing it, and it's a little bit different negotiation when you're taking money out their pockets on your own. I remember Will Packard was talking, and he was talking about when they did like Chocolate City, when they first were coming out with their movies with Rainforest and all that. And I remember when I was young and I saw those movies in like Blockbuster stuff. The days of Blockbuster was good for us. And they were going from city to city showing their films in theaters. And it wasn't until then till the companies started approaching them, Sony, they were coming to them because they're like, wait, who are these people messing with our money up in here? Filling seats, making money. See, and that's where the negotiation power comes, right? So they did the advertising. They did the marketing. And I always look at that. Like, you look at a Tyler Perry. You look at this person. You look at how did they do it? That's why I'm always like, the process is important. It's not like, I always say script writers got the beautiful part. You already got the stories written. You just go and say, hey, you can go to a college campus and be like, hey, you busy? You interested in shooting a film? I'll give you X amount of dollars to do this. Or how much you charge? Let me see what work you got. Okay, I like the quality of, so nah. You can interview people pretty much. and see. And then, because everybody, you meet cinematographers, they go, I'm a great cinematographer. I'm better than anybody. My work is better than that. It's not always about how good you are, how good something looks. Because I've seen a bunch of films that look great, but they went nowhere financially. You know what I mean? So it's not always about the quality in that aspect. It's also, could you keep people's attention? Because sometimes we might be mad at some of these cheap stories that people feel, but it's not cheap to the audience. It's something they want to watch. Because again, watching this stuff or enjoying art is a form of escaping for a lot of people.
Right.
So we got to know, how do you help your audience escape? Like, why do a lot of people like a Tyler Perry? You got, as a filmmaker, you should be asking that. Like, what is he doing that's unique, that stands out, or that grabs the attention? He knows his audience. If you don't know your audience, that's the thing. And that's marketing. That's marketing dollars. Get to know your audience. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. And like you said, because it is it's a long process. But, if you find a streaming company that does give you a fair deal, or, someone that gives you not, of course, the studio is going to be a little different because they got to spend, $100 million just to advertise. But, a streaming site that does, or ad based, that gives you a decent deal, then you don't have to go and spend your money, if you have any money, to try to build the audience, trying to, flying the city, yeah, that's great. But that city got to be making money so we can fly to the next city, or we got to come home, so it's being able to choose what's best for you and the project by seeing what options, and that's allowing yourself to see the options, to see if it's a good option or not, and knowing when to just wait. Because if it's a bad, and that more comes with not being desperate, that goes with not being desperate and just taking the first deal that's thrown on the table.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because you got to know when to say no, right? And so I'm gonna bring this to you. We started talking about this a little earlier, but there was a video that's on YouTube. I'll see if I can post it in the actual Black Filmmakers Lounge page. Where the gentleman is talking, he's talking to a guy. The guy says, "Hey, I want you to shoot a video for my business, but I don't want to pay $1,000." And it's so interesting because, and this is practice. This is like what I'm about to share is nothing new. People do it all the time, and you'll catch it or we'll dive deeper after I explain this, the conversation. So the conversation, he's like, "Okay, so you don't want to pay $1,000 for me to shoot the video," and he's like, "You know what? I'll shoot it, take on all the costs to film it, but what I want in return, you're saying that you get X amount of customers in. And so I'm going to trust you that you're going to bring these customers in." And the guy said, "Well, he's talking to him. And he's like, if you bring in, for every new customer that comes in, you give me $50. Because you're saying customers spend an average of $100 every time they come into your shop or your business. So you give me 50. No matter what, every new customer." And the guy's like, wait, but that's more than your fee. He said, "Wait, I'm taking on all the cost. I'm shooting it." He said, "Well, I'm afraid you'll shoot the best video that'll drive a bunch of customers in it." He said, "That's what I'm going to do. Because I want all those customers to come in." And he's like, "Well, I got to give you half of my money." He said, "Then pay me my fee." So that's your option. You can do this, or you can just pay up front and you can keep all the profit. And that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. No, but that's the reality. Like, you call up a script writer, you go, "Hey, I want you to write this movie. It's going to be the best movie ever." And I'm going to just use the example, TK. And TK goes, "Okay, this is what I charge." And you go, "Ooh, that's a lot. I can't afford that." Tika goes, okay, you know what? I'll write it, but I want 75% of the money. Wait, what? Or let's say she doesn't say that. Let's say I want 50% and I own the rights. I can do what I can make the next story off of it. I own the rights. And you're like, but you're not paying for it. I'm going to write your story. I'm going to sit down with you, talk to you, listen to you, and I'm going to write out your whole script. But I want 50% of any profit you bring in from this. And I own the rights. There's no money involved. You don't have to pay her nothing right then and there. All you got to do is put in your time, tell her the story. Is she wrong for that?
And really, tell me the paragraph, because you only coming with a couple of paragraphs anyway, and want me to turn it into 90 to 110 pages.
Yeah, so she's actually creating the story idea you want into a actual scripted story. And so no, that's the reality. Like then you come to somebody like me. Hey, I want you to shoot this story I got from TK. And I go, well, I want 50. You go, I ain't got no money. Oh. Well, I want 50% of the profit. And you're like, wait, well, I already got 50% of my profit going. You need to go back and negotiate with that person and me and figure this out. But I want half. I'm going to bring my camera. Here's the thing, because in our industry, people think you're a cinematographer. You got the camera, the lights, the mic. You got everything. No, I bring me. Just me. You paying for me. You're not paying for the equipment. You haven't even gotten to the equipment yet. And so then you're like, okay, I'll do it for 50% and I own the rights to what I shoot.
And that's an important question to ask when you're hiring people. What do you come with? Do you come with the equipment? When you're hiring people for your set, you have to ask them. Like Kenzie said last week, the guy was like, well, why you didn't bring the lights? He said, you didn't hire me for lighting, grip, or gaffer. You hired me for cinematography. Why would I bring lights? So it's like being able to ask these people because like when I talk to the grip and gaffer guys, I'm like, so how much are you a day? Or how much is the truck a day?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So how much are you with the truck? How much, okay, Kinsley, how much are you as a DP? Okay, how much are you with the camera? Asking and understanding those questions. How much do you charge to do the storyboard? Oh, we got to do the storyboard. Okay, great. How much is the storyboard? So how much does that come with the shot list? Being able to understand, and that's why we went over these different positions. It's being able to understand not what each position does, but ask them what it includes.
Because really includes their skill set.
It really includes their skill set. And then some may say, oh, they come to set with nothing. And they're like, oh, I'm used to people hiring a grip truck. You don't have a grip truck? No, I thought you were going to be in the camera. No, we got to communicate. We got to communicate and understand when you hire somebody what the expectation is of what they're going to do, what their job duty is, what you're expecting from them, what they're expecting from you. That's huge. That's my gym right there. Because that's huge.
You made me think about the time the guy reached out to me on Instagram and was like, hey, I'm trying to do this short film and it's only going to be this. And really, it wasn't going to be that. But the way he tried to sell it. And then he was like, I can pay you $250 for the whole thing. And I said, okay, what camera are you leasing? He said, aren't you going to bring the camera? I was like, $250? No. Like, no. I'll bring me and show you what to do and stuff like that. I said, hey, that $250 is consulting. I ain't working. Because
that's a consulting fee, yeah.
Yeah. You're telling me what you're going to pay me, and I'm going to tell you what comes with that. Like, this is what comes with that. And because he was assuming I would bring all my equipment for $250, bruh, all my equipment ain't cost $250. And I ain't asked you to pay for the equipment. I'm just saying that's like rental. That's like, you pay extra for that. But they have to. So when you go back to that conversation, and the guy said, "I don't have $1,000," he's like, "You could have just paid the $1,000 and you own all your stuff." And that's it's crazy. I say that all the time. Like, you could just pay what the person's asking, then you own the stuff. You ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it. So if that guy had 1 million new customers walk in, think about that for a second. Saying that's $100 million per person. He has to pay the video guy 50%, $50 on every person. That's $50 million that you can either pay now or pay later. Usually, if you pay up front, it's cheaper than if you pay later on the tail end. It costs more.
Yeah.
Because like the guy said, I'm assuming all the risk. And so my reward has to be much bigger. And so let's take this to not only that independent content creator or that camera guy, whatever. Let's take it to the studio. You walk into a studio and you go, "Hey, I got this movie. I need your money to film this movie." They're going to go, "Well, we own it. We'll give you the money you need. And by us giving you the money, you already got the script. You already got half the battle." That's the crazy part. You got half the battle. So really, if you raise the money, and here's the thing, this is why you have Kickstarter, Indiegogo. There's another film one to raise funding for your project. You got to be good at marketing. You got to be good at selling yourself. And writers are now being asked to do pitch decks. Pitch your story, pitch your script. So we don't have to read it yet. It's really right? We don't have to read it.
That's all it is. That's all it is. Because they get 1 million scripts, so I understand. They get 1 million scripts a day. Oh, it's the best script ever. The best script you ever read. Best script of the century. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's fantastic. It's marvelous. It's all of this hoopla about your script. And then they start reading and they're like, what the is this? And so I get it. I get it because they do get a lot of scripts, and that's a lot. So I get it. But at the same time, it's like, it's shortchanging us because if you don't tell the overview to that particular person's liking, like I told you, the overview I wrote, I have one friend she reads tons of books, and she had a problem with one line that I fixed in the overview. My other friend, who's my first draft reader, she was like, no, 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 no. I was like, what? What's wrong with it? It's an overview, so, and that's the same thing. So somebody at somebody who is looking to invest or whatever, they'll look at it and be like, no, no, no. And the other person will be like, oh my God, I absolutely love it. So it's like, but yeah, it is a shortcut for them not having to read the script. They can read, a page versus 90. But it does shortchange the writer. So it's like, yeah, so it's like pro and con to it, but hey, we just have to go with, what they tell us. I mean, in regards to pitching it rather.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the first thing they're going to ask. So if you don't have a pitch deck ready, don't start pitching. Don't start pitching unless you have a pitch deck ready.
Because that's what they're asking for.
Because they're going to, as soon as they say, great, you got a pitch deck? Send it over. Send your pitch deck over. And you'll be like, hold on. Let me look up some videos and learn how to do a pitch deck real quick. We already telling you. You already know. As I was telling Mike, I was like, I have a couple of pitch decks. One pitch deck I have to finish up. And then one pitch deck I may go ahead and do because I found the characters, but love over lyrics. But it's going to be a high budget film. So I may wait to do the pitch deck on that. But the one I know I'm shooting second, I already know I'm shooting the Garter second. I need to just make sure that pitch deck is done and finished.
And you're looking at private investors, correct?
Yes. There could be a platform for the Garter, but we'll see. For Jade, I really am looking for private investors because there are some particular people I know that are supposed to be in this movie in the spaces that they're in. And if you go with, what is that?
Somebody who feels like their car is more important than my ears.
Oh, okay, okay. So, so I don't want to get into the situation of now. Yes, can you add this person? Do you have a place for this person? Yes, I can put them here. I can put them here. But there are like four characters that I'm like, these people are here. These are the people. This is where they go.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, if you go to anybody outside of a I'll just say streaming platform, a big streaming platform. Let me say it like that. Then I probably get told who I need to place where.
Okay.
And I'm not willing to go against, me, what God told me in regards to these people and where they're supposed to be in this movie. Because then it'll flop and we'll wonder why. Well, it
Mm.
wasn't ours to begin with, it was the Lord's. So, yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But definitely for Jade, private investor, that is what my goal is.
Okay. And so on the independent side, how have you seen the current writer strike impact you?
For me, I have movies that are being pitched. So they are pitching. They are pitching two of my scripts to studios. So two of my
Mm-hmm.
scripts are being pitched to studios. Um, One, I would just like them to do the distribution versus initial funding, only because I don't want them to try to, like I said, change the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not accepting pitches right now.
Okay.
They're not accepting pitches right now. And of course, I can't make any deals with any WGA signatories because I personally have been in the independent game for 16 years writing. I don't want to be stuck here forever. So I do want to join, my if it's meant for me to join the union, I want that option to join the union at some point.
So you're just like putting it a pause anyway.
Yeah,
And
because I still, like I said, I still have a pitch deck to finish.
yeah. No, and like here's a perfect time that if you do have stuff, you just write, just work on things and refine it. You're not
Hmm.
putting it out there and selling it or nothing. You just kind of pumping those brakes. Um, like me personally, I think it's a great time for independent filmmakers
Hmm.
because you could go shoot as a filmmaker. And because here's what happens when in a business mind to me, the strikes, because I think you got two more strikes looking, right? You got, right now we're looking at the WGA, then you have SAG AFTRA, then you have the Directors Guild.
Hmm.
Those are the next two because they're all negotiating. So for an independent person who makes independent films, they're not looking for studio funding. The funding they're getting is from the dentist, the doctor they know, the friends, the family to make their projects. The scripts they're most likely either writing themselves or hiring someone like you, TK, um, to write their scripts. But they're in that low budget era and they're not connected in that sense. Um, so later you're going to have the need for content because if many productions come to halt, which some have already, I know there was a movie with Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix. It was about this couple that goes to an island and decides to live there, and then a wealthy like person or heiress comes and she wants the island to put up a hotel resort and everything like that. So, but that was going to start shooting next week, and they put it to the halt because of the actors, because the anticipation of the Actors Guild going on strike. Um, so then they gotta wait and then hopefully it fits in those schedules of the actors because that's what happens. Again, you got to come back around.
Hmm.
Um, and then that like we were talking earlier about like the Marvel Deadpool. They're supposed to start filming, and they
Hmm.
told Ryan Reynolds he cannot ad lib whatsoever because it's considered script writing. And I was like, if you're ad libbing, you're just throwing things in. But if considering it script writing means you're making amends to what's already on paper. So you're changing it. So that's writing in some type of form. And then when you have the final script, you got to turn over, you got to put that on there anyway, those ad libs, because closed caption, all that has to be included. So I could see where that is writing, right? Because it's going to have to be put on the final script regardless for editing purposes for that closed caption, like I said earlier. So I say, oh, okay, I can see it now. Where somebody be like, ad libbing, that's just what people do, nah. But
Yep. Now we know.
yeah.
Now we know.
So I think for the indie side, it's not unless, again, you're creating opportunities where there's going to be a gap, and that could be a way in for an indie filmmaker, because platforms are going to need content. You're going to have things like Peacock, Tubi, all them. They're going to need content, new content, not just what's there. And
yes.
so that's becomes the thing for the indie filmmaker. It's just that you don't create for the major studios that are being they're on strike for, that are being struck, because that's where the danger comes in play. But if you're doing it for yourself or your own independent thing, I don't think there's a danger to that.
Yeah, because they're gonna have, and that's the thing. Like I have a guy, I have like 5, 6 people actively looking for funding for Jade, and one of the guys said, they're just scared of it's a strike and this and that. And I told him, this is the time to shoot so we can have stuff ready to go when the strike is over. The film is ready and we're ready to pitch it and get the distribution. I was like, but he was like, but they're so scared of this strike. And I was like, yeah, because they're just looking at the money side of it. But it's like, if you're an investor, what does the strike have? If you're investing in films to create content, yeah, if you're a private investor creating and you're putting up money to create content, like what is, like, you know what I mean? What is it? Maybe I just don't know because I'm not an investor, but what does that have to do with you funding someone to create content to have it ready to go after the strike is over? I have no idea. So, but
all right,
Darrell, looks like Darrell has a question. Go ahead.
Hey, questions. How to deal with those frustrations of feeling like you're stagnant in your career? That's something for me to think about. I am stagnant in my career right now. I'm going to tell you straight up, Darrell. I haven't shot a project since 2020. Right? And that was my grad school project. Here it is, 2023. Trying to get, now we've been working on scripts. That's the thing. We have tons of scripts. I got to get back there, get back in the mindset. And I look at things and I tell myself every day, hey, let me get back on board. I want to do this. A lot has changed, and there's certain things you have to add to your finances, like the COVID. Like, okay, so the COVID things are going down, but COVID hasn't gone away. There's actually a whole new strand about hitting China now.
Yeah, because it expired May 11th. The COVID protocol for set.
Right. But yet here comes this new strand hitting China. That's to hit the US in the summer.
Really?
Yeah. But they're not talking about it anymore because they don't want it to infect or to affect money. US is about money. They're not about your safety. It's about money. It's a money game. And so I have to pay attention to what happens worldwide and what's going on, because from a business sense, what goes around the world impacts our business. And so that's why you know these things or you learn these things, because you got to be aware. because how does it affect your mind? It's like Russia and South Africa and China and other countries coming together to create their own currency
Mm-hmm.
that impacts the US dollar. How does that impact you? Things like that. So when you're aware of that, you can make projections, right? And so that can be dangerous. But like, I should have been filming. Like, to be honest, I probably should have been like trying to do at least one feature or two features a year,
Mm-hmm.
and is making time for it. So when you feel stagnant, you find things to do. You start researching, you start digging deeper into writing or coming up with ideas. So I'm gonna Derek has called me and said, "Hey, I told you that before." So I'm gonna yes, Derek, you did. And so because you don't want to get trapped. But you want to be aware of what's going on. So that was my mind frame, right? Derek had to call me out again. But see, Derek's been on his game. He's been doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fault any of the people around me that are doing their thing, because I'm like, oh, you're doing your thing. And we're all different in how we handle it. But I think accountability is important amongst us too.
Yes.
Hey, what are you doing? Okay, hey, are you at least writing? Hey, come on, man, start filming. Hey, what can we do to get you? That type of accountability can kind of slow us from being stagnant, is your circle. And like, you're working on your web series, man. So I don't see that as stagnant.
And you're always researching and watching stuff. So even though it feels stagnant because it's not where you want it to be, it may be a season of you learning. Like, I know I was in a huge writing season. It was like I was writing script after script after. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
somebody asked me when I wrote Love Over Lyrics. I was like, I think that was 4 scripts ago. I was like, I
She
think that
can't
was
tell you the
four.
year.
I say, but I think 4 scripts ago was actually 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I really
Four
think
of
I
your
wrote
own
it.
scripts. We're not even talking about the scripts you wrote for other people.
Yeah, not scripts I wrote for other people, just my scripts. I was like, I think that was 4 scripts ago, so I think that was 2 years ago. Because I was in a big writing season. It's like once I finished a script, then another script would hit. Then I had wrote somebody else's script. Then another. Remember, I said this year I don't think I'm writing anything but maybe 2 or 3 scripts. I said
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel this is a writing season. Like, I feel like I
Excuse
wrote
me.
so much, like I was in a deep writing season. So there is a season, and that's the hardest part, Darrell, because I know more than I know. I'm definitely know, because especially with us not working regular full time jobs, and then we're just in the creative industry. So we're just in the creative industry. So being able to, it feels stagnant because we want to be where we can sustain ourselves, living our living situations, being able to eat, but the truth is there are seasons to this, just like life. I mean, just like the circle of life, there are so many, you go through the spring, winter, fall, summer. I can't even name them all in order, but it's the same thing in our careers. So
Yeah.
that's good. I
And
remember that.
and
It's
and,
same
and
thing. Yeah.
you know what? Now that you bring that up, and because I remember somebody asked me a long, long time ago. They were like, "Oh, we went to church, and their pastor was talking about Joseph," and they were
Mhm.
like, Joseph was in a season of preparation where he was storing up
Mm.
things into the storehouse for the famine to come. So they had that
Mhm.
7 years they were flourishing. So he was storing up during that 7 years, preparing for the famine. And when the famine hit, people were coming to Egypt to get food, to get their needs, because they had storage. And so they asked me, "Are you in 7 years of famine? Your 7 years of flourishing with preparation? What 7 years are you in? I mean, where are you?" And every time I think about that, I'm like, "Hey, I got to consider where I am." And I think I have been in a preparation stage pretty much, because
Mhm.
since I moved back to the DMV, I've worked on projects like we did the I Am the streaming series. I won't call it a web series anymore. Streaming series. And I did short films, and I submitted to various film festivals. So we've gotten to a lot of film festivals since then with those projects. And for me, it's been more so, okay, what's the feature? And so we have like stored up some features. We're still working on two. We got two we're still kind of doing because but we put one on hold, and we're working on the next one, and then we'll come back around to the other one. That's a romantic film, and the other one is a people film, friend friend about friends. So it's kind of one of those things. Because I base it on budget. Like, hey, my first project, coming back out, I want to have a budget of 50 grand or maybe less, but 50 grand ideally. Get this many actors, rent out one location, film in that location, and utilize some other things. And then boom, I'm done. Even if I got to shoot it in my own house, I'm going to do it that way, whatever we got to do. But that's how I looked at it. So I don't look at it as being stagnant. I look at it as a planning preparation, planning, getting ready and getting all my tools ready. Like I got everything. I got my cameras, I got lights, I got mics, I got all the stuff. But I also teach this. So what the good thing about what I do teaching wise, and then we have the podcast we do, is it keeps me rooted because I also see myself as support for others. Right.
Absolutely.
This is why we have these conversations on the Saturday morning in Shop Talk, Indie Industry Shop Talk. This is why we have the Black Filmmakers Lounge to support people and give them perspective and help them through. Because I look at it as I didn't have support when I did my first feature. I didn't have, I know who I could talk to or who, and generate relationships and network and how fascinating of a network we now have because of the internet and the plethora of people we've met and spoken to. Not just, once in a while, like there's people you can hit on text or pick up the phone and ring it, like Derek, like Jacoby, TK, acting like Tanya, Lewis, Jamal. Of course, I've been around them for a long time, but there's just people. And so you're watching them and you're cheering them on as well, because we should be, right? That's what your circle should be about. And so you're not technically stagnant, but then maybe we should be like, hey, how can I come help you on your project to get me back in the thing? Like, Derek, I could be like, hey, Derek, I don't know when you're shooting. I know he shot in Maryland and I was working though. So it was hard to get to where he was. But if he's like, hey, I'm shooting in Maryland again around summer, I can be like, yo, I can be there. Or I can be there at this time after I do this, if I teach summer school or something. So then he'd be like, all right, if that's what he chooses.
Right.
But that's where I feel a network should be with people. And then if you feel stagnant, make a short. Like, hey, what kind of short project can I do this weekend that'll keep me on my toes or help me learn my new equipment or help me flesh out this concept I have. So that's kind of where I would look at things. So I think working wise, you might get stagnant, but learning and knowing the process, like I'm going to play around my iPad. If you don't know, Final Cut Apple has released a Final Cut for the M1, M2 iPads for editing. It's a little bit different than the main one for computers, but they released one, and they did Logic Pro for the iPads as well. And that's the music editing, the music creation and editing software from Apple. And so I like learning new tools because how can this be useful? Right? What can we do with this? And so I guess that's kind of where I'm at now, but I do know I need to get back on my grind. Like I tell myself almost every day, I need to get back on my grind. I need to work on my health, but I need to get back on my grind. TK, I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was my answer. That was exactly what my answer was.
Yeah. So, and I know TK's on her grind because when I talk to her, like, I'm working on the script right now. Oh, we're doing this pitch deck. So, yes, Derek, the price for Logic for the iPad is $49.99 a year subscription, which isn't
Oh,
bad to me. Like that, that's a 1-year subscription. I know some people are like, why can't I pay just one price?
oh.
But you know what? If you're a business, you're gonna write that off anyway. Like
But you
you
know
don't even
what?
think about that. Like, okay.
You know what? I've been
Mm-hmm.
paying for Word, the subscription for Word, $11 a month, which is,
Mm-hmm.
$11 a month. But I've been paying for it for like 10 years.
Mm.
So I've paid $1,000 to Word, Microsoft.
Why are you paying for it? But you know it's cheaper. You can just their subscription should be
They
cheaper.
don't buy it anymore. I looked.
They don't have a
I'm gonna
1-year
check again.
subscription. Like I thought they
I'm
had a
gonna
1-year subscription.
They used to have no, here's the thing, but you keep saying subscription. You
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? There's no way for me to buy it, so I'm gonna be forever paying for it.
No, that's a subscription, right? You got to pay on it, but I thought there's
They
a
didn't used
1-year
to have it
price.
like that. They used to have
Okay.
it where you just buy it. And so back
Right.
then it was like $250 for the whole, you know how they used to. So it'd be like, oh well, I'll just do the monthly. And then I was like, wait a minute, I've been paying $10.91 a month for 10 years. So
Wow.
buying it, and so I hate that it's there, all these people are getting away from just buying the software like we used to.
You leasing it.
Like
It's on
Final
leases
Draft,
on rental.
Final Draft I still own.
Mm-hmm.
So Final Draft I still own. So I'm not paying monthly. Thank goodness. Because I use it, so often. But I had to think, I was like, wait a minute. And so when I did start looking into buying it, it was like you said, it was still subscription.
But you don't even have to use Word no more. You can just use Google Docs. Like, there's so many. Like, I got an Apple. I can
I'm
use
so used to
Pages. I
using.
can use Google Docs. And
But
I
when
don't
you
get
send
charged for none
somebody
of them.
Google Docs, so when you send somebody a Google Doc if they don't have a Gmail,
But
will
you
they
can
still be able
export
to
it as
open
a
it?
Word doc. Like, you can export it as a
But
Word doc.
I have to export it as a Word doc, but I have to have Word to export it to Word.
No, you're just going
So
to
I don't.
export it as Word and send it to them in Word. And the Google will still read a Word document. It'll convert
Okay,
it over and read it.
because I'm
So you don't
like,
have to pay for Word.
I
Look,
paid y'all
certain
over
things
$1,000 already.
I'm about to say paying for certain things is unnecessary. Like Word, you don't need to anymore.
Well, I'm gonna try. I'm
But
gonna wean myself off of it.
I
I'm
try
gonna
to
do
get you
this
on
winging thing.
Apple. I try to get you on Apple because Pages is free, Numbers is free, their Keynote is free. It all comes with the device. It's part of the plan. Once you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, and that's another good thing we needed because if we stop and think about it, everybody's going to subscription. And Adobe is ridiculous. But here's the thing: as a filmmaker creator, now I'm locked into Adobe, but I was canceling it for X amount of time, and they gave me 60 days for free. So after the 60 days, I'm gonna cancel it. But this is how I think of stuff. But right before the 60 days, I cancel it because it'll be summertime. I don't need any use of it. And then my job, I think, will give me Adobe. That's the other thing of being a teacher. You can get access to some of these things as educators or get educator prices. But everybody seems to be going to the subscription base because they were in reality, you could lose money. Like, hey, you buy this software, you spend $300 and you hold on to it and you don't upgrade. I remember when people used to charge you to upgrade, right? You get like a company would fix so many things in their app, but then the next year they come out with a new one and you got to pay for the upgrade, and you pay a lesser fee than you did buying it. And they did that all the time. That was their way of making money. But if you think about it, if you can get millions of people subscribing to something every month, first of all, psychologically, people forget their subscriptions. They forget when it's coming, when it's going to hit their credit card or bank account, and they keep living. And then it hits it and they're like, oh, I meant to cancel that. A little late now. Then they're like, well, I'll just enjoy it for now and I'll cancel it next month. And
Especially if it's only $6 or $10, it's like, oh, well, yeah.
But the reality is if you're going to cancel it then. So you still get that 30 days that because you've already paid for it. And then when the 30 days is up, they don't come back and recharge your account again. I mean, that's the other way. But I like testing out tools and see how they can be useful. The one thing I do know about like Final Cut on the iPad is it will only talk to Final Cut on the computer once right now. Meaning I can once I edit on iPad, I can send it. The other problem is it doesn't allow me to connect a hard drive. I can use LumaFusion and connect the hard drive and it'll read and let me edit off the hard drive. So I'm not taking up space on my iPad. And that's the difference, right? But LumaFusion didn't start out that way. So as a new app drops, they start running updates. It's just trying to get you hooked. Hey, this is what we do now. Hey, we've added this in. Hey, come get, and we do it. And we like, oh. And then we start using those apps and it becomes useful. It's like Adobe, I don't edit with Premiere. I know people who do. I just don't. I edit with Final Cut. I used to edit with Avid. Avid was doing a subscription. And I was like, yeah, okay, I don't need it this month. I haven't used it. I ended a subscription. I haven't used it. But then they started finding ways to lock you in. Like, if you really want this deal at this price, you'll have to do it for a whole year. And you're like, oh, really? Is it worth it? Like, nah, it ain't worth it. But I like the one-time. I'm a one-time buy person, but I understand subscriptions. And I know that we in business, we are moving towards a subscription base. Music has moved towards subscription base. TV, streaming platforms are subscription based. What else is going to become subscription based? Everything else, like food is trying to become subscription based. Like, hey, subscribe to Grubhub and you'll get discounts on delivery. Well, you pay nothing and we deliver your food and you still pay a tip and stuff. Like, think about that. They want you to go subscription because it's a new movement of making money and staying relevant to the user. So I can only see most apps starting to go subscription based, even the ones people are becoming comfortable with now, because they're also losing money. If they don't get new people on board and they're competing, they're losing money. So if you look at a Final Draft, if more script writers are using Final Draft and start buying it and upgrading every year, then they'll probably won't go subscription based, right? But if less people and people are trying to circumvent the system and use this app over this app and then losing money, then guess what? Expect them to start going subscription based because they're trying to make sure they have income coming in every year. And here's the problem. If you like an app, if you like certain things, you're going to support it because here's what happens. If it's not supported, the app you purchase still dies and there's no updates. And guess what? The industry keeps growing. But your app is and then you got to move to something else. So that's what becomes the next thing. You got to look at the business perspective of it all. Or we can all start speaking and say, you know what? Let's all cancel our subscriptions and go back to normal. That'll teach them. Well, that'll teach them. We're all no more subscriptions. We're tired of that. And just unsubscribe to everything and see what happens. If we do that, because that's the only thing that's going to change it. But again, there's going to be people who don't
change it. It's got to be everybody.
There's going to be people who don't unsubscribe because that subscription makes them comfortable. Think of everybody's now using AI. Adobe's beta, there's an AI now. So like all these things, they're adding these things in. And so is it worth it? Like I really think it's not worth $20 a month to pay for Adobe. I don't use it enough to do that. And all I really needed was Adobe PDF. Because I don't do a lot of my editing. I think I just started using Lightroom because I have a camera I've been taking pictures on and dealing with the raw photos and stuff and tweaking them. But it's not, there's other software and stuff that do the same thing for cheaper. So it just really depends what your needs are, what you're willing to pay for. But I can see that. The whole subscription thing. But I thought about it like because you can do, so Derek, you can do the logic for $4.99 a month which costs more. Just pay the $49. It's like, that's 10 months and you get 2 months free. Like, that's really what it is. But and you get 1 month free either way to test it out, play with it to see if you want it anyway. So, but you have to have the iPad M1 or the M2. I got an M2, so I upgraded earlier in the year. So that's that on the software side. Of course, your camera equipment. Canon dropped the R50. So you got a lot of these different tools. So it just depends. Another thing, Darrell, would be finding side gigs, things that keep you from being stagnant, that also feed your pocket. Because you can say, hey, I can go be a photographer for events or shoot videos for events and put that money aside for my productions. You know what I mean? So that's another way to offset costs and things like that. So we should all be coming up with a subscription-based platform, maybe.
Right.
I'm telling you, we should. I don't know why we don't be thinking like as a group, like, hey, 360 Films presents. All right. So my 60-second gem, because TK dropped hers early. She tried to sneak it in.
It was too good not to be a gem. I was like, oh, this is good. This is a gem right here.
Know your worth. Know your worth. Your time is valuable. Your knowledge is valuable. Your skill sets are valuable. It's not your equipment. It's not your equipment. It's not what you have. It's good that, to me, it's good to have equipment. It's good to upgrade equipment to the necessary stuff. I will say this. Honesty is key. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with others. The minute people either see or feel like you're lying or being dishonest with them, that trust factor goes out the window. They don't feel like they can trust you. They don't feel like they can work with you. They don't feel like they want to listen to you. You got to be mindful of that. And throwing things out there, learning new terms and words, and just shopping it as if, oh, I know what I'm talking about. You can tell on yourself easy. It's a small industry. It's a big industry, but it's small. And people know people. And people know people who know people. And people have talked to people. And some people are talking about you when you're not there. Some people talking about you when you are there. But know your stuff, learn your stuff, know your value and your worth. And my dad always told me a man is only as good as his word. So if I can't trust your word, I can't trust you. And I thought, wow, that's a powerful thing, Dad. So when I get around people, my word means something. Like old school people, your word means something back. It still means something today.
It still something today. It's amen. That's a whole nother amen. Yeah. So thank you guys for hanging out with us today.
Hold on. Darrell says so. We're going to overthrow that up. That's something I'm looking into doing. I applied for some production jobs on set and in the office. Yeah, there you go. See? And you build your skills, you get around the people. That's boom.
That's why I would do background work. I would do background work because I was still on set until I was led not to do any more background work. But that's what I would do. I mean, because I'm on set, I'm still learning, I'm still watching. The director's directing, the actors are acting. You know what I mean? I was still gaining and also being able to get paid doing it. So absolutely, Darrell.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Show us your support. We want you guys to have a wonderful Memorial weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Pay honor and homage to the family members that served, that have lost their lives, because that's what Memorial Weekend is about. And show your appreciation for them, because you're here today and they fought for some of these freedoms that you do enjoy and have. So just respect that about those members, and find something. Talk to your family members. Tell them what's up. Tell them thank you for just being who they are in your life, if that's the case. It's just, We should just be thankful, you know. But I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys
We
joining us.
appreciate you guys so much. We really do.
And because even like I always tell TK, even if it's just one person on, we gonna be on. Like,
Absolutely.
We gonna do what we do.
We're doing what we're supposed to do.
Because we know if I always say I wish I had something like this when I first started. Mm-hmm. Or even to keep me going, you know, and this is what keeps me going too. So we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Just remember, hey, you've been hanging out at the Black Filmmakers Lounge, Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, my co-host, Tamara TK Henderson. And remember that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is where interdependent filmmakers, whether they're novice or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, and networking to discuss the industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. We like to advance each other. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, Sunday, and Monday if you're off, you know, enjoy that holiday. And we love you guys. And like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it.
Subscribe, and share.
And there is a quick special shout out that I'm thinking I can get this right. I gotta get it right. Because we got members who come on and support us off the cuff, which is Derek Durrell. They're definitely members that come and support us off the cuff. Audrey supports us off the cuff. And I want to, oh my goodness, I can't see it. Why? Don't do this to me right now. We on our way out. See, it's Facebook. Facebook don't want me to say nothing. All right. Shout out if you shared this. I had a name. I did. I thought it was Teresa. There's quite a few people who've come on and supported us, so we like to be thankful. I don't know. The page is not working for me right now, TK. Please check it. It won't let me tap a thing. All right, so this might be the iPad reboot. But we thank you guys. We love you guys. We appreciate you. If you're listening on YouTube land or Facebook land, we appreciate your supporting us and then follow us on Instagram. And go make a project. Go film something today. Go take a picture of your family members. Go interview uncle, grandparents, somebody. Like, subscribe, share.
Like, subscribe, share.
What?
Like, subscribe, and share.
What?
Like, subscribe, and share.
Remix version. All right. Thank you. And that was for Lewis. Hey, man, we hope you're doing well. We're here for you, brother. Love and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. Right,